Always a hot topic, this one: Suppression. Introduced in Battlefield 3, the mechanic was greeted with, well, a mixed response, shall we say. Adding a mechanic in-game that forces a player to break away from direct fire and take cover made sense in Battlefield, but it wasn't perfect. At that time, DICE decided that making it look like your screen had been steamed up, like condensation on a cold window, and making your bullets start firing in random directions was the best way to go. Obviously, people didn't really like this, and in Battlefield 4, the effect was reduced somewhat, but still played a big role in gunfights. Essentially, what Suppression did was remove skill from every single gunfight entered by a player and leave it up to random fate as to who'd win, which wasn't really fair at all. If you go into a gunfight, the person with the best aim should always win. And to an extent, that still happens, where somebody doesn't quite win because of Suppression, and I don't really think that's fair, and that's only due to a visual effect. DICE LA, however, are giving this mechanic another go, and just at face value, it looks far better than any other implementation before. On the screen right now, there is an infographic which explains in short how gunfights and Suppression will now pair together. And to quickly explain it, I'll run through some of what it's trying to show you. If you're using a gun in its optimal range, that is to say in like extreme close quarters for example, the weapon is unlikely to suppress you as you're in such close proximity to the enemy and you're likely going to kill them or that person's going to kill you. The same effect applies within the effective range as well, where it's more likely you're trying to shoot someone than you are actually trying to suppress someone. In the fall-off zone, there's still a chance that you'd be looking to take somebody down, but due to recoil and other weapon characteristics, the likelihood of you dropping that target is greatly reduced, and the suppression effect is applied a little bit. And within that suppression zone entirely at the end there, your weapon is mainly being used to suppress your target. Bullets might make contact with the enemy, but overall, you're really just looking to stop them taking you down, and the best way to do that is by firing at them. And essentially, from that graph, we can see that DICE LA have clearly differentiated how Suppression will work after the spring patch. And basically what they've done is remove the random aspect of the mechanic that's been present in Battlefield 3 and the start of Battlefield 4, and reworked it into something that you might expect to actually carry the title of Suppression. The mechanic is now a useful tool to help you and your teammates get a better angle on the enemy by suppressing the target at longer ranges, allowing you to move up to a more effective range and use that weapon to kill somebody instead. Now, this change has been active in the CTE for quite a while now, and considering that I've barely noticed anyone complaining about Suppression in the forums or on Reddit, or indeed the good old in-game chat, which is a fountain of knowledge, I'll have you know, it seems the change has been successful. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys on console actually make of this change as well, because that's where the system hasn't been fully tested with a large number of players yet, but going from the implementation that we've seen on the PC client, I'm pretty confident that this change will be considered a good one. And one more thing that I just want to add really, and it kind of backs up the reasoning why this mechanic has been changed, because my perspective on Suppression is, well, aim is really essential in first-person shooters, and back in Battlefield 3, the system was completely horrid. It was just rubbish to start with. It really hadn't been thought out very well, and the backlash from the community showed that pretty evidently. Without a good, consistent aiming system, any game would become aggravating and unfair as a first-person shooter, and what DICE LA have done is simplified the process and streamlined it back to something that mimics real-life combat situations, which ultimately makes the system more effective. Yes, you can now suppress somebody from 50 or 60 meters away, but there's still a chance that if my aim is good, I can take that player down. No longer are we punished with random bullet deviation or increased recoil just because we're being shot at. We've now got the fairest implementation, I think, of what Suppression is and has ever been in the Battlefield series, and let's just hope it stays that way for future titles in the Battlefield franchise. And just one more thing that I want to add on to my add-on here. It seems that CTE for consoles is about to become a real thing. There's a picture on the screen right now that was posted by JJJU, one of the lead developers at Dice LA, and you might not be able to tell, but there are two Xbox Ones on the desk there, and both screens are hooked up to them, and they are both running the CTE client. And they're not development boxes, they're actual Xbox Ones, which is really exciting. They finally managed to get CTE working on the consoles. There's still no specific time frame for when CTE will arrive on consoles, but it has been confirmed that it will only work for next generation consoles only, so the Xbox One and the PS4. So sorry guys, on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 you won't be getting access to CTE, and the main reason for that is, well, the consoles just simply aren't powerful enough. For those of you that don't know, I think the PS3 only has 512 megabytes of RAM. So it's amazing that the games still manage to even run on those consoles, but they can't handle a development environment. But it's still pretty cool to know that they've got it working. I just hope we get some kind of sort of date for you guys soon, because I know you want to test things out. But thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, if you could leave me a like, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And don't forget to hit up g2a.com/r/Westy and pick yourself up a great deal. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.